Every major news outlet is reporting on Hunter Biden's charges brought up against him and the deal that he struck with his prosecutors this past week. Biden was charged with 2 misdemeanors of failing to pay taxes on time, along with the gun crime of possessing a gun and lying by stating that he didn't possess the gun while he was addicted to drugs. However, it's shocking that Hunter Biden was so easily able to strike a deal with his prosecutors in order to plead guilty for these 2 misdemeanors on taxes. And with this deal, he's able to get off with just probation for the gun crime, which I believe is actually a felony. Meanwhile, a woman in Pennsylvania was charged with 3 years in jail, as I detailed in the short up here, and she was just carrying a gun, and she didn't know that she had to have a license for both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. New Jersey is where she had a residence, where she lived, and for carrying that gun over state borders, she got arrested for 3 years. No excuses, she just got arrested. A single black mom. Meanwhile, the president's son is getting a very special treatment and prejudice in his favor, being able to get just on probation for this gun crime. However, what I think is the most essential part of this case is the whistleblower testimony that also all news outlets are reporting on. According to CNN, these whistleblowers, quote, told Congress that IRS investigators recommended charging Hunter Biden with attempted tax evasion and other felonies. The whistleblowers also outlined that the DOJ actually interfered in the investigation into Hunter Biden's crimes, and because of that, the penalty was lowered drastically in his favor. And how do you know that these allegations are true? It's because they came from a man named Gary Shapley, a 14-year IRS veteran who he was involved in the case for Hunter Biden since the beginning. And here's a quote from him directly. "I am alleging with evidence that DOJ provided preferential treatment, slow-walked the investigation, did nothing to avoid obvious conflicts of interest in this investigation." And while this is incredibly revealing of Hunter Biden's personal life and his criminal record, something much more significant is his laptop, which was revealed early in 2020. The laptop revealed much more drastic and criminal things, including prostitution and business with foreign companies. Now, this business with foreign companies included Hunter Biden negotiating and receiving millions of dollars from foreign companies in China and Ukraine, and even including, we know this by evidence from text messages and emails, that Hunter Biden was in some of these meetings with his father, Joe Biden, the President of the United States. Not only that, but Joe Biden was also receiving millions of dollars from these foreign companies. I think it's astonishing that the left and the media are completely ignoring that issue. They're just paying attention to what the DOJ is doing right now with the taxes and the gun, but they're not paying attention to what the real problem is, which is the very real corruption that we have already seen is true with Joe Biden and his son, abusing power to sit in these companies' highest places to earn millions of dollars. And while all of these things have been verified by very clear evidence, various means of evidence, we're still trying to paint Trump like he's the worst person on the planet for keeping some documents in his home securely. Well, Biden even did the same thing, but even worse, because he stored them next to his Corvette in his garage. Not even like stored away trying to hide them, he just stored them next to his Corvette. And while some may say that the biggest problem with Trump's case is that he didn't give them back to the government, that doesn't matter that much because Biden regardless kept classified documents that you're not allowed to take. If you steal something from the government, aren't you supposed to pay some punishment for that? Even if it's a fine, you're still supposed to have some sort of punishment for literally stealing from the government. What I think is the funniest about this case is not only the bias against Trump and for the president's son, but also that Joe Biden in 2020 and in 2021 claimed that he knew nothing about Hunter's business dealings, and he even claimed that he did nothing wrong at first. Then he claimed he knew nothing about it. Then he said that he didn't talk to his son about it. Then he said that he had nothing to do with it. Now the next step is that the DOJ doesn't care because it's the president and he's a Democrat. All that being said, once all of this is brought out to the light, once all of this is fully accepted by everyone, because the evidence is undeniable, like, we've already seen the evidence, okay? We've already seen what criminalizes Hunter Biden and the President of the United States. And Joe Biden may just go down in history as the most corrupt American president in history. Subscribe for more content like this.